Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Lords of Podcast Roundtable. First Take, Hustle versus Repo, Part 2. I'm, of course, Kyle. Joining me, once again, is Repo and Hustle. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hello, gentlemen. I once again am the man, the myth, the legend, son of Repo Man. I'm here to do today the damn thing because you brought me back. The vote was too close to call, so we're gonna have to slug this thing out one more damn time. Hustle?
Well, it's pretty clear that you got all your family members to vote. So, it's the only reason you should be that close to me at all in the voting. But because I'm generous, because I'm nice, I'm going to give you another chance, and we'll see what happens.
I appreciate that. I know your family would have voted, but I know internet is kind of sparse in Hawaii. It takes them a while to get down from the mountain, so.
Walked right into that one, didn't I?
Yes!
All right, we have 3 topics on tap today. We'll start with this past Sunday. WWE held their Money in the Bank pay-per-view. While it wasn't exactly the game changer that last year's version was, many feel that it's a better show in the last few pay-per-views, like Over the Limit, No Way Out, Extreme Rules. In the main event, John Cena won the Money in the Bank briefcase for the WWE title. That being said, Repo, was it the right move to have that match main event the card?
Was it the right thing to have that match main event the card? In a perfect world, yes, because it is John Cena. It is Big Show. It is Kane. It is Chris Jericho. You got 4 main eventers giving it their all, and then a surprise with Miz walking into it. It's like, oh, damn, this looks like it's got all the capability of being the main event of the show. But it shouldn't have been. The Money in the Bank, even though that's the name of the show, should never be the lead, the go-home match for a Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Why? All the suspense of Money in the Bank is always, will he or won't he? Will he or won't he? You had Daniel Bryan and CM Punk and AJ go out there and give it everything. Not everything, everything. They left nothing on the table for that match. They just let it go. Had the Money in the Bank been in play, John Cena's little announcement that he made could have been made that night. And that could have been a great lead-off for Monday Night Raw. It didn't need to happen on Raw the way that it happened. The Punk-Bryan match was the main event of that show. And I know Punk all the time starts saying, it doesn't matter if I work first or last. Nobody does better than Killer. I agree. But if you're going to put that hard-hitting caliber of a match on every single time, you need to be in the main event. Because you are the world champion. You are the carrier of the flagship. Now, while Cena and other people might be attractions, when you're putting on matches like that and it's tried and true, you don't have to second guess. You need to be the main event. So I think the WWE made the wrong call by putting those guys in the main event.
Hustle?
All right. Everybody knows I'm a Cena fan. I'm not going to deny that. Okay, here's the thing. Money in the Bank matches are essentially nothing more than glorified number 1 contenders matches. Am I right? This much we can all agree on. So, in a normal world of wrestling, the number 1 contender match for any title should never come after the title match for that title. Doesn't make any sense. In Money in the Bank, it makes even less sense because, as Repo said, the whole intrigue about it is, okay, the Money in the Bank winner now has the briefcase. Are they going to cash in? Oh, what's going to happen here? Well, as soon as the WWE title match went on before, everywhere on Twitter and in the LOPR chat, everywhere I went, it was always the same jokes. Like, okay, wait a minute. Is CM Punk going to cash in his title? Like, how does this work? But I don't understand what's happening here. But there is the obvious reason why, the match was the main event. It's John Cena. We've gone over this before. John Cena, the only draw that this company has as far as regular workers go. Other workers might pop a spike in the rating here and there. CM Punk might get a nice rating for a quarter hour on this show. Randy Orton has had nice quarter hours for some shows. Things like that, depending on a good storyline or a good match, you might get those good ratings pops. But John Cena has proven that no matter what he does, he gets those ratings pops. It doesn't matter if it's a backstage segment, if it's a match, if it's a promo, whether the ICW. Oh, Lord have mercy, I'm having a stroke.
But I gotta jump in on this one real quick, Hustle, because I gotta ask you a question. Yes, it is. I think we're both in agreement here that John Cena has transcended past the title scene, the main event scene when it comes to Money in the Bank. But unlike television, where you can turn on and off, if I'm throwing $55 down for a pay-per-view, I'm not turning it off. So whether I'm putting Cena at the open spot or the closed spot, you got my attention for 3 hours, unless your show is just horribly bad. So given that situation, I still can't see the justification on putting Cena in there. Yeah, he's the main eventer. He's going to bring it every single time. But with the formula of this pay-per-view, I just can't justify it.
Okay, again, I get it with the formula. I completely agree with you on that. But as far as, paying the $55 and all that, well, who's paying the $55 for these shows? It's the parents for their kids who are there to watch John Cena. The people that don't like John Cena, the people that are not fans of his, the people that hate him, don't want to see anything to do with him, they're watching the streams. They're downloading the shows later. So fuck what they think. It's pretty clear that the WWE has that same feeling. I mean, obviously, if the WWE cared about the IWC to a great extent, John Cena wouldn't even be where he is right now. But, when you have your only draw, the only person that gets regular TV ratings, the only person that is a constant merchandise seller, when you have that, you almost have to put him in the main event. And I know it's blasphemous, people saying that it can never be above the WWE title, and it diminishes the value of the WWE title. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Especially not in this regard. Why? Because now John Cena is in the title picture. So if you gave CM Punk and Daniel Bryan the main event and they had the exact same match that they had, down to the second, every move, everything was exactly the same, but it was in the main event, that's fine. People would have appreciated that. It would have been cool. Like, oh, finally, they got to main event, a pay-per-view. They did their thing. Everything was fine. At the same time, though, that wouldn't mean as much as now putting John Cena back in the title picture. Because, again, everything revolves around John Cena. So
I 110% agree with you on that. But given that, and like I said, going back to the formula, if Cena was a match beforehand and Punk and Bryan, do their damn thing, you bookend the show by bringing John Cena out and make that announcement that he made on Raw. That was the perfect time for it, because now it's like, is John Cena coming to cash it out? Is John Cena coming to do whatever? You can even have Big Show come down and say, know what you're going to do with the title and everything else. The same playbook would have exactly worked. But now you give the kids exactly what they want. Most Cena. So instead of just having some Cena, I get double Cena. And so now that match still has an intrigue, because you're like, is John Cena coming to cash it out? Will he turn heel? Will it be a face? Will that guy in the front row put his sign down? You don't know.
See, all right.
Go. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Raw, Monday night, Raw scored the highest rating that they've scored since the night after the Royal Rumble. Higher than the night after WrestleMania when Lesnar came back. Higher than any show, sans the post-Royal Rumble show. Hustle, what are we supposed to take from this?
Okay. There's two logical reasons that I can think for that happening. One, going back to John Cena again, people wanted to see what he would do. Even before he made that tout video where he said he was going to have a major announcement involving the briefcase on Raw. Even before that, people were like, okay, well, with The Rock coming back, on next week's show, and with The Rock wanting to be in the WWE title picture, people were already, jumping from step 1 to step 8, going, well, clearly that means we're going to get Cena versus The Rock for the WWE title. So Cena has to win. So Cena's going to cash in, and this and this and this and this. So people were excited to see, well, maybe not excited, but they wanted to see what Cena would do if he would cash in. Would he turn heel in doing so? Would he follow his character, and would he announce ahead of time like Rob Van Dam did? What would he do? It was either that, or people wanted to see AJ and her entire storyline. The last couple weeks, it seems that the TV audience has finally come around to that storyline. The live audiences have been buying into pretty much everything that whole storyline has given us. All of the romance, the in-ring action, the promos, everything that they've done, live audiences have really responded to that. But only in the last few weeks have we seen rating spikes in those storylines. So, after what happened at Money in the Bank with AJ pretty much calling the match down the middle, she kind of helped both men, was kind of against both men. But there was no real, okay, she's clearly trying to help this guy win. Without that, and without a actual finish to the storyline, it didn't wrap up quite nicely at the pay-per-view. There was still the intrigue of, well, who's she going to end up with? Is she going to end up with anyone at all? What's going to happen? There was still that intrigue, and people wanted to tune in to see what she would do. I was shocked at the 3.44 rating. I didn't think that was possible for a non-1000th episode of Raw. I kind of assumed that they would get a 3.44 for next week's show. But with it happening this week, and with next week being as loaded as it is, like, the sky's the limit right now. And they have extra eyeballs on the product now. And they're going to get even more next week, as they always do when they bring back Attitude Era names, and all these people that may not watch wrestling anymore. They kind of grew out of that phase, but they hear, oh, DX is going to be there. Oh, The Rock is going to be there. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll tune in to Raw. I'll see what's happening. So it's a really good sign for the WWE. Really, really good sign. But there has to be a Cena thing if I had to pick it. And I know. But you can't tell me that's not what the main reason was for these extra viewers this week. It was the intrigue to see what he would do with the briefcase, if he would do anything at all.
All right, Repo. Prove him wrong.
Oh, Lord. There are only 3 absolutes in this world right now. Death, taxes, and John Cena being a face. John Cena, I would have bet quicker that you'd have gotten refunds for all the FEMA money you paid for New Orleans before John Cena would have done something dastardly with that briefcase. And that's men, women, and children alike. Ever since the CM Punk turning in the case against Jeff Hardy and doing that turn, they know what happens when you take somebody's face and put them up against somebody else's face. It's not good for business. And especially with a money-making cash cow Cena is. So if you thought that Cena was going to cash in the Money in the Bank in a dastardly way, I got some beachfront property in Arkansas to sell you. The rating spike was AAA, all about AJ. That angle has made AJ do something that only Cena has done, and that's transcend their division. Whereas Cena has transcended the roster, AJ has transcended wrestling women. Basically, AJ went on a long stint on television of being an active WWE diva and not wrestling anybody. Why? Because she is transcending it. So after that match that happened, people want to know what's next. I'm hearing about AJ from sources that I never thought I'd hear about. I'm seeing people tweet about AJ on Twitter. I'm seeing it on Facebook. I logged into MySpace. I think somebody mentioned it. It's just all over. AJ Mania is going crazy because this is what the Attitude Era had that we don't have now, which is an interesting, captivating storyline that attracts the attention of wrestling fans and not wrestling fans. And with the Raw 1000 coming in, yeah, you will get those spikes because people want to see what's going on. Legends are showing up every week to beat up Heath Slater. Different people are showing up. You got the, possibility of the Brock Lesnar intrigue. But the hook that brought you into the show, I got to go with AJ. Because after that match, everybody that watched it said, what's next? There wasn't a clear channel for what she's going to do. Is she going to continue to go after Punk? Is she going to go with Daniel Bryan? Maybe she's going to swerve us all and say she was in love with Kane the whole time. You never know what was going on with that. But that angle has had so much intrigue. That, I believe, was the driver behind that 3.4 to find out what's going on with that. Yeah, people want to know what John Cena is going to do with the briefcase. People would like to know what Dolph Ziggler's doing with the briefcase. But I don't think that was like the main point. I believe that was fuel in the tank. But I think that the nitrous oxide that knocked us to the 3.4 was definitely AJ.
Okay.
So,
Go
ahead.
I gotta say something here. With everything that you just said about AJ and how she's driving the storyline, I'm not going to disagree with you on that. But here's my thing. In that storyline, you have CM Punk, who's one of the best in the world, pipe bombs, the WWE champion. You have Daniel Bryan, who's, again, one of the best in the world, has the simplest catchphrase that has ever happened, but has taken the world, not the wrestling world, the world by storm. Yes, chants break out all the time, everywhere now. So you have all of that. Plus, again, you have the WWE title. So it's an important storyline. With all of that, the one thing that everyone's talking about is AJ.
Mm-hmm.
She's technically a wrestler, but in the storyline she's not, because when they book her in matches, it's always, oh my god, well, her team's at a disadvantage now. So with all that said, isn't that more reason that John Cena should be main eventing?
No, because it doesn't matter who's main eventing at this point. Wrestling's in cycles. We all know that goes in cycles. We're back right now in that cycle right before the Attitude Era got out. And what was going on in WWE? Who was the number one most marketable star in WWE pre-Attitude Era before things happened? And because they bring it up all the time, because at one point she was the most downloaded female in America online history. It was Sunny. No one was watching wrestling at that time for Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and Diesel. If you're watching the WWE, they weren't watching it for that. The fans were, but the general population that tuned in only cared about one thing. You had this hot girl here, and she's getting scantily clad, and then as the Attitude Era came in, she got more scantily clad. But Sunny was the driving force until Attitude Era took full swing. Now, that's not to say that John Cena's not a draw, but we already know John Cena's there. It's SOS, same old shit. With AJ, this is something brand spanking new. We haven't seen AJ before. We've never seen AJ in this light before. She's coming out of left field with this angle. So this is drawing in new audience and saying, well, hey, this is kind of interesting. I got females watching it for the storyline aspect, and I got guys watching it because, like, she's a cutie little booty. So you've got more fans added into it. What the test of time is going to be is not Raw 1000, but Raw 1002. Because if this angle can keep up steam, you're going to get a fan base that's going to keep you at that 3 base. But if they drop this bomb on AJ and the angle gets stupid, you're going to see the Raw ratings fall.
Huh. I'm surprised nobody said the return of Rey Mysterio, drawing in a section of the demographic. But,
Ooh.
Okay, well, there you go.
Psychosis?
Yes, Psychosis.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of Raw 1000, finally, the landmark first ever 1000th episode of Monday Night Raw. First ever 1000th episode, period, of any show, coming this Monday. They have put so many eggs in that basket. We've got a DX reunion, Daniel Bryan and AJ's wedding, The Rock and a bunch of other legends returning, Brock Lesnar's response to Triple H's SummerSlam challenges, on top of the tag titles, Intercontinental title, WWE title now, all on the line. Repo, of all these eggs, which one hatches a chick and which one is rotten?
Gotcha. Well, this is kind of easy, so I'm going to go with the bad first and get rid of it. The bad egg is going to be the DX segment. The reason that's going to be a bad egg is that this whole segment, in my eyes, is basically just going to be a build-up for the whole Brock Lesnar thing, in which Brock is probably going to come out and he's going to destroy Shawn Michaels. Like, Triple H will be incapacitated, and Brock is just going to do something ungodly to HBK, who can take a couple bumps here and there, and then Medical will be checking on him. We'll see the clips about 4, 5, 6, 8 times as they're wheeling him to the ambulance and what Brock did and the power that he had and, you know, fighting him for that. So that segment is going to be horrendous because, first of all, you're going to have two over middle-aged men acting like they were 20. That shtick was funny back when it was 1996, but now there's only so many fart and dick jokes that you can make before you're wanting to change the channel. And the only reason I won't is because I'll probably go on the show. The one that is going to be the chick hatching is going to be The Rock. And it's going to be The Rock in some way, shape, or form is going to get involved in the John Cena CM Punk match. We talked about John Cena transcended the roster and the belt. If John Cena transcends that, The Rock transcends John Cena. And the fact of the matter of John Cena possibly winning the title while Rock is available and while Rock is there, it's just going to sting of too much of opportunity. Something's going to be said, lines going to be crossed. He might be a special guest referee, but in some way, shape, or form, The Rock's candy ass is going to be involved in that main event match, and that is where all the hype's going to come from, because that's going to lead to something bigger. Whether The Rock wrestles at SummerSlam, he shows up at SummerSlam, special guest referees at SummerSlam, Rock concert part 85 at SummerSlam. But when The Rock is on TV, people are going to tune in and people are going to watch. So if I have to pick the chick, it's definitely The Rock's involvement with the main event.
All right. Hustle?
Okay, well, before I even get to that, as far as the DX reunion is concerned, maybe I'm looking too much into it. Maybe I'm just hoping. But did you guys catch on Raw when Michael Cole, he just did it the one time. He plugged the reunion several times, but there was one time when he said all of the members will reunite. Now, I'm not a broadcaster. Didn't go to school for this kind of thing, but all would not be considered two people. You wouldn't use that term if you were just talking about Shawn Michaels, Triple H reuniting. You wouldn't use the term all, even though technically that would be all of the members of the most recent DX.
Can I add a point of contention here, and I'll let you continue?
Go ahead.
When the WWE was advertising for the recent Hall of Fame ceremony, they advertised all of the Four Horsemen, and Ole Anderson was nowhere to be found. So the WWE has advertised shit before and then not delivered on all. So I understand where you're going with it, but just point of contention, they've made this mistake before.
Okay, well, my point is, I understand that, Triple H and Shawn Michaels are the ones that, most of the audience is going to remember and care about. But if you're pulling out the big guns and you're bringing out all these Attitude Era names and legends and old school people, if you're going to do a DX reunion, you should go all the way and do it right. Bring out Billy Gunn. The Road Dogg's already there. Bring him back out. Sean Waltman, God knows what Sean Waltman you're going to get, but he's, as far as I've seen, he's in another good phase in his life. Bring him out. China, okay, not so much. Maybe keep her out. We don't We don't need a China on live television. That might not go very well, but make a real reunion out of it. Just have some fun. Anyway, back to the subject matter. What I think is going to be the rotten egg is going to be anything involving Brock Lesnar and Triple H. I'm sorry, but I'm not a fan of this storyline so far, and I'm not a fan of where it's going. I'm still a Brock Lesnar fan. I'm still rooting for him and supporting him, but man, they ruined him by having him lose to John Cena. Just took all of the bloom right off of that flower.
Wow. This coming from the John Cena fan.
Oh.
See, okay, but you can't bring Brock Lesnar back and try to put him over as that huge machine and then have him lose to basically 6% of the offense that was in the match. I mean, Cena got his ass kicked, and we say that a lot with Cena matches. I understand that that's the formula. He gets the Superman comeback, but in a normal match, it's just kayfabe got his ass kicked. No, in the Brock Lesnar match, he was really getting his ass kicked. Like Lesnar looked like he was out to kill him, but he lost after taking 2 moves. And I get, this is where the hardcore MMA fans will be like, yeah, that's kind of like Brock Lesnar's MMA career.
Aha.
He kicks ass for 99% of the fight, and then as soon as he gets touched on the chin, it's over. I get that. That's fine. But he should have won the match. He should have won the match. Cena, of course, should have won a rematch and should have, won the feud, because that's how wrestling goes. You put the faces over in the end. But, my God, people just don't care anymore. There's not as much hype and excitement around Brock Lesnar now. And it doesn't help that they blew through all of his appearances so quickly. He was there every week. He was doing something every week. He was beating John Cena up, or he was cutting a promo. He was doing something. And then all of a sudden, disappears. Nothing. Not even via satellite appearances. Just Paul Heyman gets to come out and say, Triple H, we're going to sue you. Don't touch me. That's not exciting for people. Even the people that are Paul Heyman marks. That's not what they're there to see. They're not there to see Paul Heyman cower behind Triple H. They're there to see him do his own version of a pipe bomb. They want to see Paul Heyman cut a great promo, shake things up, do all the things that they remember Paul Heyman from doing. But they've neutered Paul Heyman. Why? In an attempt to get Triple H over. Triple H is not exactly a young, up-and-coming talent. He doesn't need that. He doesn't need to be put over like that. He's already a legend. He's already going into the Hall of Fame. He's already running the fucking company. We don't need that. And that's just what I fear this whole thing is turning into, so that Triple H can go over at SummerSlam and Brock Lesnar continues to look dumb, and people are going to be like, well, why did he even come back? I get that he's probably getting a lot of money, but the damage that he's doing to his aura and his invincibility here, all the money in the world's not going to help that. But it's just my thing. I'm personally not interested in anything that the storyline is giving us, and I don't see that changing on Raw 1000. So that's what's going to be my rotten egg. And if you're going to talk about what's going to give birth to a nice, healthy chick, you're not going to be surprised.
I'm shocked.
I'm sure that this is going to sound like a bit of a broken record, and it's going to be a theme here, but I'm going to go with CM Punk versus John Cena in their WWE title match. Now, I understand we've been baited and switched before. That goes back 30, 40, 50 years in the wrestling business. You know, that's never going to go away for that matter. It'll be in the wrestling business forever. It'll be a match that you promote for television and something happens so you don't get the match. I get that and that's fine. But with all these extra eyes on the product for the Raw 1000, with everything that they're doing with CM Punk, we're giving him this incredibly epic title reign that nobody expected him to have. Now you have John Cena back in the title picture. He hasn't had the title all year, going back to November of last year. He's finally back, officially back in the title picture. With all this attention that's going into this match. I'm not saying you're going to get a clean ending, but you're going to get a match. This isn't going to be a 3 minutes and then throw it out and then, you know, all this shenaniganery is going to take place. You're going to get a match. And anytime those two get in the ring together, it clicks. They have that chemistry. It's not going to be a perfect match, but you're going to have an excited crowd. God, I hope you're going to have an excited crowd. With everything that crowd is going to be getting next week, if they're quiet, WWE should never go back to St. Louis ever again. I don't care that St. Louis has a great wrestling history dating back to the NWA and dating back to like the 30s. I don't care. If everything that they're getting doesn't excite them and doesn't make them pop, something's wrong with them. So you're going to have an electric crowd. You're going to have Cena and Punk. Oh, excuse me. Should I say Punk and Cena? Because, you know, Punk is the champion. I'm sorry for putting Cena first. I'm sorry.
So disrespectful.
I'm sorry.
Disrespectful.
So you're going to have Punk and Cena.
Thank you.
Being very motivated, and you're going to have them go out there. I think maybe match of the year might be pushing it. Even to say that it would be a candidate might be pushing it, because it is a very loaded episode of Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see them getting, 30 to 40 minutes. If it was a normal episode of Raw and they were going to announce this, sure, you could give them a very big chunk of the show. But even with the extra third hour on Raw, I can't see more than 15, maybe 20 minutes overall for this match. But what we're going to get is going to be fun. And that's really all I can ask for at this point. With as much duds and as much bombs as the WWE has given us in recent weeks and recent months, especially on Raw, I just want something fun. Give me that 15 minutes and just let me sit back, watch a match, enjoy it, enjoy the story that's being told. And then on top of that, as Repo said, where does The Rock come into play? Does he interfere and does he cost Cena the match? That would make Cena the first Money in the Bank winner to cash in and lose.
Yes.
There's that intrigue. Does he just sit back and, if Cena wins the match, Cena's the new champion, then does The Rock come out and say, me and you, SummerSlam. You want your revenge? I want the WWE title. Let's make this happen. Does that happen? Does the WWE actually go with Rock Punk? Oh, excuse me. Punk
Rock. See, there you go. It even sounds good. SummerSlam, Punk Rock. Tickets are sold. I will print them right now. T-shirts can be bought on the website. See,
me personally, I would like to see that match.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen Cena and The Rock already. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they could go out and have an entertaining match again. I'm not outing that, but mm-hmm. if you want to put the title over, if you want to put CM Punk over, well, there you go. Yep. Put him up against The Rock. Even if The Rock beats him, it's still The Rock. Repo said it already. The Rock transcends the business. So if you really want to put Punk over, all these months that he's held the title, that's fine. That's great and all. But the people that he's beaten, not The Rock. Even if he beats Cena this week, it's not The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of different directions that they could go, but it all starts with the WWE title match on Raw. That's what I think is going to be the chick birthing. That sounds just terrible.
Right?
That's what I think is going to happen.
So Hustle's advocating a live birthing on Raw. Just remember
Bring
that.
Mae Young back again.
Yeah, I'd say it wouldn't be the first time.
Ugh.
All right. So I noticed neither of you mentioned Daniel Bryan and AJ's wedding, good or bad. Repo, what do you think is going to happen there?
Oh God! See, the thing about a WWE wedding, it can either be really, really awesome or really, really bad. Personally, as soon as I heard that Daniel Bryan and AJ were getting married, I looked on Bed Bath & Beyond's website to see if I can get a Cobra shipped there overnight. WWE weddings, they're give and take. It all depends on what the hook is for this wedding. We haven't had a successful one yet, and I think WWE.
There was one.
Which one? Are you talking about the wedding in which Al Wilson is now deceased even though he's walking this land?
Well, I was thinking a little more classic.
Or are you thinking Macho and Elizabeth?
Macho Liz, yeah.
Like I said, looking for the Cobra. Okay, you can have the wedding and everything great, but when The Undertaker and Jake the Snake Roberts are delivering a snake to your wedding and causing you to get bit, I think your wedding is a little bit ruined. We've yet to have just a straight marriage, party, get in the car, and we'll deal with it later. The same night, every time that it's happened, whether it's been Billy and Chuck, whether it's been a renewal of the vows, whether it's the original marriage between Test and Stephanie, we can't get a marriage to go off. So now we get the intrigue of what the hell is AJ going to do? Who could she possibly fall for? Could she switch up and go for Kane? I mean, she was making goo-goo eyes at The Miz during their match. There's a lot of intrigue, but it doesn't go through, and I think that this may be the tightrope act for the WWE because you have everybody built up on AJ, caring about AJ. What do you do? I mean, if AJ goes completely ballistic, puts Daniel Bryan down, locks him in the yes lock, takes the ring off and throws at him, then yes, that makes her instant superstar, do whatever you want. But if something stupid happens, like Doink is the minister and she gets a pie in the face, not so much. So I'm going to say that this angle is going to bomb. If I had to pick a percentage, 75% that it's going to be a bomb, a stinker.
All right.
75%.
One high.
Bit of breaking news, not really related to wrestling, but John Cena and his now ex-wife have reached a settlement for their divorce. Hustle, good or bad?
So you're not even going to ask me about the wedding? Jesus Christ. Fine.
Nope.
So he gets the wedding and I get the divorce? What the fuck, Kyle?
It's Cena. It's your wheelhouse.
Give and take. This is your man. This is your bread and butter.
Jesus. Okay. Can we not talk about his divorce and then say that he's my man, please?
Okay. Self-pause there.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay.
That makes me sound like a homewrecker, okay? I don't want to be the reason that his marriage dissolved. Okay, I'm not the reason why him and I were together before. Anyway, no. It's good. Of course it's good. I mean, yeah, it's not as good as they made up and they're back together and everything's fine again, but for his sake, for his mindset and all the distractions that this divorce could have given him, this is a great decision. This is a great move for him. I mean, he can put this behind him now. It's still going to hurt, and because I believe they were high school sweethearts.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong? So it wasn't before that. So still, that's 20 years possibly that they've been in love or that they've been in each other's lives. and he'll probably never get over that fully. Let's be fair. Although, he did cheat on her 47 times, according to all these people, so he probably never cared about her in the first place, yada, yada, yada. But it's still, for all intents and purposes, his first love, and it didn't go the way that either of them wanted to. See, I'm getting all emotional now. Jesus Christ. It didn't go the way that they wanted it to, and that's unfortunate, but that's kind of how love works in today's society. It's kind of a roll of the dice. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's great for him. He doesn't have to focus on that anymore. He can focus on his job. He can focus on going into the ring and having good matches with people. Because as you all should know, whether you're a former wrestler, you've never wrestled or not, these are the kinds of things, like, this job is something that you have to have all your focus on. You can't go into these matches. You can't go into a match with anyone and be distracted and be thinking about other things. Your health and your life are on the line, and your opponents as well. You have their health in your hands. If you fuck something up, they have a broken neck, they're done, and that's all on you. So Cena couldn't have that kind of distraction going into these things. He doesn't have it now. He can focus on that. He can focus on all of the media appearances. He can focus on the Make-A-Wish kids. He can focus on all these other things, these positives that are in his life that are carrying him to where he is now. He doesn't have to focus on the negatives and worry about what dirt is going to come out now and what former WWE employee is going to be disgruntled and is going to give an interview with a newspaper somewhere and say that Cena had sex with all these women. He doesn't have to really worry about that as much now. He can focus. It's going to be good. Finally.
All right. Well, let's get into the final segment. Repo, you've got 30 seconds starting now.
Raw Man won at Money in the Bank last night. John Cena winning, yeah, great. What did he do? But based on the angle that happened at Monday Night Raw, Raw Man won. Who should have won the Money in the Bank? Chris Jericho. Why? Give it simple. John Cena can ask for a title shot anytime he wants. And if CM Punk would have said no, he'd look like the biggest pussy in the history of mankind. So he'd have got that match regardless. All he was there for is to keep Big Show off of the damn title. And guess what? He did that. Could have gave it to Jericho. Why would that have been important? Well, think about Monday Night Raw. Who did Jericho confront in the ring? Dolph Ziggler. Had Jericho won, you would have had the Raw Money in the Bank winner looking down the throat of the SmackDown Money in the Bank winner. You want something that's going to cause intrigue? You want something that's going to cause suspense? You want something that's going to increase buy rates? How about the red briefcase going against the blue briefcase in order to have complete control of both briefcases? The possibility of a unified champion in the modern era. You don't think that'll sell tickets? I still got the beachfront property available for you in Arkansas.
Hustle, your time starts now.
I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm not going to give the fantasy booking. I'm not going to say who should have won, who shouldn't have won. I'm going to say that this episode of LOPR and the last episode of LOPR, the first take that you and I did, Repo, are probably the two best episodes that LOPR has ever done. And they're probably the most fun that I personally have ever had doing an LPR episode. It was less stress. There was less thinking. We didn't have to plan things for hours beforehand. We got a little distracted before we went on the air, and that's fine, but we shut that down real quick. And here we are. We're doing the show, and we got through it. We didn't have a bunch of screw-ups. Things are fine. And it was an honor to debate you these last 2 weeks. Now, regardless of what happens in the vote, I'm going to win. But no matter what the official numbers say, we need to do this again. That's all I'm going to say.
And it's true, we do need to do this again. And since you've given me kudos as well, for those that don't know, a certain member of this panel is turning a certain age today, and we'll spare him of that because we don't have the candles and it's a fire hazard. But I'd like to wish a happy birthday to Mr. Hustle himself, whose birthday is today at the time of this podcast. So happy birthday to him. I know that a couple people will give him votes, but I heard it from Hustle himself that he said for his birthday, instead of gifts, he wants you to support starving children, especially minorities, and there's no other starving minorities that I know besides me. So if you want those votes my way, it'll make Hustle happy.
Wow.
All right, everyone. You know the drill. Be sure to vote below this on the main page. We'll also put a link up on the YouTube video. Throw your votes out. I want to see who won. And with that, remember, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, donate to our PayPal. Eventually, we'll have t-shirts that you can buy. And we'll see you next time. Next week, same time, same channel. Good night, everybody.